You matter, and completing the 2020 census matters to Decatur and Macon County. The 2020 census is critical for our community to receive the funding that's needed, that's necessary for job training, better health care, better schools, and services such as food assistance and housing. It's easy and it just takes a few minutes to complete. Go to 2020census.gov, fill out the 2020 census today, and make your voice heard. Welcome to Speak Up, Speak Out, a weekly online forum where we discuss issues facing our community and working towards ways to enact real change. I'm your moderator, Terrence Tat Taylor, radio personality, and DJ on Hot 5.5, as well as Enrich program essential skills instructor at Richland Community College, and now the director of community investment at the Community Foundation of Macon County. All of the jobs. Topics weekly on Speak Up, Speak Out will include everything from community action, mental health, family, communication, and more. You can catch Speak Up, Speak Out every Saturday on the Hot 105.5 Facebook page, as well as nowdecatur.com. And I want to take a second, of course, to thank those that make this forum possible each week. Crossing Healthcare, the Community Foundation of Macon County, United Way of Decatur and Mid-Illinois, Neuhoff Media, and the City of Decatur. You, the audience, are invited to participate. We want you to speak up and speak out along with us. Submit your questions to speakoutdecatur@gmail.com. That's speakoutdecatur@gmail.com. Or direct message me on the Hot 105.5 Facebook page. I want to before I introduce, summer service presented by Hickory Point Bank is still in full effect. So for all you young people out there who are doing some phenomenal things within the community, we have some great prizes and things that you can win, cash money. But if you want to partake in possibly winning some money, you have to submit the great things that you're doing within the community. So make sure you get to nowdecatur.com to make your submission for the summer of service. Once again, presented and being brought to you by Hickory Point Bank. Now, I want to introduce this week's fantastic guest, the one and only Debbie Bogle. She is the president of the United Way of Decatur in Mid-Illinois. Debbie, how you doing?
Hi, Tad. I'm doing great.
Doing great. Now, today's topic is ALICE families. Now, this is something that I did not know about, and ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. These are families who are living paycheck to paycheck, who may now be unemployed and not sure how to seek services or be ashamed to do so. We are going to focus on these families and removing the stigma of receiving help, whether it be rent or housing assistance, food, clothing, medical, prescriptions, or emergency funding. Debbie, let's get straight into it. Now, me being personally, one thing about me, I've been at a point where I was living paycheck to paycheck. So I know the feeling of not being where you need to be, having to take care of yourself and your family, and not knowing about resources being available to individuals who are working paycheck to paycheck, and the stigma. I'm Tat. There's no way I'm gonna go and look for some service. It's the shame behind it. People would see me as, hey, you're Tat on the radio. You're balling out of control. My daughter will always say that she would come home and all her friends believe that we lived in a mansion, that we had 6 or 7 cars, but not knowing that we were living paycheck to paycheck. So let's get straight into that, the out.
Right, Tat. And that is a great point. I think probably a lot more people have been in this position than we even know. It's pretty common, especially for young families. And so it's not something, I've been in that situation. I know many, many people who have been, where the example I like to use is if you get a flat tire, some of us have some extra money. We can go get a new tire. Some of us can borrow some money from our parents or a family member. But then some of us have nowhere to turn.
Yes.
And what happens if you can't get your tire fixed? You miss work that day. You don't have vacation time. You're an hourly employee. You miss a day of work. Well, then you're already behind the the
Yes.
ball there.
Yeah.
And that just compounds and escalates to things down the road where you can't pay your power bill this month.
Yep.
Well, and that just snowballs.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we're really focused on trying to prevent. So if there's it's the term Alice is it's kind of what we used to call the working class poor,
Yeah.
which is a terrible term.
Yeah, because it's because the once again
It's that
that
stigma.
stigma of poor.
Yes. Yes.
I learned what homeless was when working in the school district. Of homeless, in your head, you think of sleeping outside, but
Right.
it's living with people, not having your own uh, apartment or home.
It's sleeping on
you're
somebody else's couch or
exactly
that
that's
type of
what's
thing.
yeah. Uh,
And so that's a population that we really want to make sure is um, that we're looking at, and we're making sure. So as a United Way, our main focus is to take people, whether they're in crisis, so maybe it's a family that's homeless, maybe they're stable, but they're using services, so they're not able to get through the month without services,
yeah.
whether it's SNAP, a medical card, you know, child care assistance, those types of things. Maybe they're in that position, but what's that next step that
Yeah.
we can help move somebody towards self-sufficient? Our goal is to create a self-sufficient community, because
Yeah.
right now we have so many people that are not self-sufficient, and
Mhm.
that's not a judgment, it's just a fact. And so what can we do as a community to help? So maybe additional employment, additional training, those types of things. But in the meantime, how can we make sure that we can make sure that that flat tire is fixed, so
Yes.
that that's not it's so much easier to keep somebody out of poverty than to let them fall into poverty and
Mhm.
then try to get them back out.
Yes.
So that's really the focus of what the Alice families are, is helping with that little bit of extra that they need right now, so that eventually they can no longer need services at all.
And how
In
do
Macon County, our population of Alice families is right currently it's at 22% of our population of Macon County.
I,
So you add that to the population of folks that are in poverty, and you're at
Mhm.
36% of our population is either Alice family or under.
isn't that well? I'm not really surprised because, like I said, I was in that category.
Right.
You how do people especially now with COVID hitting on top of that? Now that's a whole nother. What are you seeing since COVID?
So that's really what we're focused on right now, and we have been since day one.
Mhm.
When people are not going to work, and they're either have less employment, so maybe they just have less hours, or they've been furloughed, laid off, whatever the case may be. Now, currently, with the additional $600 a week in unemployment, that helps
Mhm.
a great deal.
Yes.
But we know that's been extended, I believe, through August. But when that ends, and even now with some folks struggling, it doesn't matter if prior to COVID you were making $100,000. If you suddenly have no
Yeah.
income or very limited income, those bills just didn't go away. Your
No,
mortgage
those do
payment didn't.
not. Yeah, COVID did not hit them. They're still coming in.
Yes. And so, well, they're not making what they did, but they still have the same bills.
Yeah.
And so what can we do to help make sure that they don't end up being in the same situation? They've suddenly now become Alice families.
Hmm.
And, Alice families are at higher risk now of ending up being in poverty.
Yeah.
And so that one of the biggest things is to prevent these folks from being homeless, from this escalating, is to make sure that they have a place to live and that they have power in their home.
Yes.
And in addition, things like daycare when people can go back to work,
Hmm.
um, food for those that may not have
Oh,
all of
food
the
is
resources right now. And so
Yeah.
what we believe is happening is um, people are either not paying their power bill because they know it can't be shut off right now. So they're
Hmm.
like, okay, we need to focus on the immediate needs, which is food. So they're not going to the food pantries, which there's such a huge stigma around
Oh,
that.
it's
Like you were saying, I'm not going to go stand in
I'm
line
not
at a food
standing in
pantry. That's
line.
not who I am.
Yeah.
But we should really not focus on that stigma and that judgment and really just find ways to make sure that we can help. And so right now, what we've done with the Community Foundation, Neuhoff Media, Decatur Township, Dove, DMCOC, is really focus on how can we resource our community so that we're able to make sure that people are able to pay their mortgage,
Hmm.
able to pay their rent, able to pay their power bill, even if it's just 1 month to get them through, and those types of things. And one of the things with the if you have a mortgage and you've requested that you don't have to pay it for a month or 2 months or three
Yeah.
months, um, that's all great, but you still have to pay your escrow. You still have to pay your home insurance. You still have to pay your
Yes.
taxes. And so, what can we do to make sure those pieces are still paid? Because we don't want, in the end, somebody doesn't pay their insurance because they think their mortgage is paid,
Yeah.
and
And then
extended.
yeah.
We need to make sure that those pieces are still paid because the mortgage company is not going to pay your insurance for you.
Ooh.
And so we are looking at all those things and trying to make sure that those things are covered and that people have that option.
And how do people go about finding out about these resources? What I found out, because one great thing about our great city of Decatur, we have the resources and so many programs, organizations such as United Way, who are here to help. But how do you go about finding those resources and just asking? Because a lot of the people that I do work with, uh, when they ask for services, I can direct them, but how do they find out? Like the public who needs to find out about these services.
Sure. And we have two different ways that you can do that. So right now during COVID, we wanted to make sure there was an easy one place that you could go to and just see what information is available.
Hmm.
And so with our partnership with the Community Foundation, Dove, Decatur Township, DMCOC, we settled on United Way's website where you can go to uwdecatur.org and there's a list of COVID resources available. So you can find the information on where to go for rent, mortgage, utilities, um, domestic violence, all of the food, all the shelter food pantries that are available. All of that information is there. And so if there's something outside of that realm that you're looking for, you can call 211. And so 211 is a resource hotline. It's 24/7. You can call that number and they will direct you to the place that you need to call or go to in order to meet your need. And so they have a comprehensive database of all the
Hmm.
services in Macon County. And it's not just, an agency that, you tell them exactly what you need. We've had people call for diapers. We've had we've had children call. We've had law enforcement call and use this number when they, run into somebody that may need some services and they're not sure where to send them. They call 211. So it's a resource that's available all the time, not just during times like this. That if there's
Yeah.
something that you need, and I always like to say, you may not be quite sure what you need to ask for. If you explain your situation and your problem, then they'll be able to direct you and guide you through that and help get you to the right place.
And I'm glad you brought up 211 because it's not like it's something that's been there, but I forgot about it.
I know
A great
it's one of
resource.
those things that it's not top of mind yet. We've had it. I think it's if you don't use it, you don't remember that it's there.
Yes.
And it's we pass out cards all the time. Every time we
Hmm.
do a presentation, school districts, hospitals have them.
Yes.
So we're really trying to get the word out about that and make sure people remember that don't sit at home and try to figure this out on your own. There are resources to help you, and let's help you get there. We believe that
Yes. Yes.
um, you
And
know,
now I'm definitely,
yeah, give that number out all the time because
yeah, now
that,
I'm definitely about to give it out all the time because I got a bunch of those cards too that be handing out. But
yeah, yeah.
said
It,
if it's not something that you use or have used before, um, it's not going to be in the front of your mind at the top
right,
of the
right.
thoughts.
And they can give you all the resources that you need. So even if there's, and it's in all 5 of our counties that we cover. So Macon, Moultrie, DeWitt, Piatt, and Shelby counties. So if you're in a county that maybe they don't have all of these services, or maybe there's a service that you need and you live in Decatur, but we don't have it,
Yes.
then they will give you the information for the next closest service available. So, if it's an agency in Springfield that fits your need, they'll direct you to where you need to go. They'll help you find that place that you need. So there should always be an answer there
Yeah.
for that type of call.
No, I love it. 211, definitely call 211. Now, with the increase being so high, what are some of the programs that you've seen or organizations who have really stepped up and met the need?
I cannot say enough about the financial assistance, Decatur Township, DMCOC, those folks who just really embraced what was happening
Mhm.
to make sure that people were taken care of. Good Samaritan Inn, who, completely flipped how they had to do business as far as, folks coming in to get that one meal a day.
Yes.
Um, to where nobody could come in anymore and they had to change their format
Yeah.
and give away food at the door. Um, Northeast Community Fund, you know,
Northeast, and that facility is, before you get started, Northeast Community Fund, I paid them a visit a week or so ago. And the new facility, this is my first time being in there. And I think that new facility alone uh, helps the flow of people that come in, because at the last location it looked run down and it
yes,
was set up in a way of, if I needed groceries, I'm not going in there, you know. But with the new facility, the way it's set up and the way it looks, it's state of the art, it's clean, it's cut, it's in the
right.
uh,
It's a fabulous organization and they're doing so many great things
yeah.
in the community. And through this, they kind of did the same thing where typically you would go in there and to get the food and pick out the things that you want.
Yes.
And they had to change that to where it's drive up only and don't get
Mhm.
out of your car, which is great for folks who are not used to using these services, to be able to just to drive up somewhere, not
Yeah.
stand in line, those
Yeah.
types of things, so that there's not that feeling that they might have that this isn't me.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed, you know.
Yeah, and we're really trying to eliminate that for our community right now, because don't suffer.
Exactly. Talk
You
about
don't have to be in that situation where you're worried about where your next meal is coming from. We have plenty of resources available in our community to make sure people are fed.
it. Mhm.
Speaking of, we're going to have a food distribution day on Saturday, August 8th again.
Oh man, the first one was fantastic, phenomenal.
It was, and it was quite overwhelming to see,
The
you
need,
know, all of those cars
yeah,
lined
the
up in
need.
the parking lot of folks needing help.
Mhm.
And we were happy that we were able to provide that with Central Illinois Food Bank
Yes,
and the Community Foundation, Crossing Healthcare,
we had
to
we had the young people involved. The
yeah, it's been a
enacting.
great partnership. And food pantries are open during the week, but at this time we're just trying to supplement what they're doing by offering an additional option on a weekend. If people are working and they can't get there during normal business hours, then let's see what we can do here on these Saturdays, with that partnership. And
Uh,
so it was a very humbling experience, and we were happy we were able to bring that resource to our community.
yeah.
And we're happy to be able to do it again. We would like to do it again in September.
Yes,
And
indeed.
then in October, we'll have the WSOY Community Food Drive.
Hmm.
That's still going to be a huge, the agencies in our community really rely on that to stock their pantries. And we're not quite sure what it's going to look like this year. I know we probably won't be able to do it the same way, but we're going to work on that and figure that out.
Oh yeah, because it's definitely a need, and that is a major, like for our community, like you said,
Yeah,
that's what the pantries are looking forward to. That day is like Christmas, and with us getting into the season where it's going to get cold and people are going to be stuck in the house because of the weather, uh, that's also a factor of
right.
of our next step. But once again, the great city of Decatur that we live in, we have great organizations and help, and that's the main thing. Once again, I'm just speaking to how I was as like Alice, um, of the needs that I needed personally. You know, as a young parent, uh, just trying to make ends meet. It's important to know where you can get help and know that you shouldn't be embarrassed or suffer, like you said.
Right.
That you don't have to suffer. We have help. Don't be ashamed of asking for help, and we have the resources. Um, Anything else you want to elaborate on or mention before we wrap things up?
I just also want to mention that if you've been laid off, furloughed, let go, and you're concerned about your medical insurance, Crossing Healthcare is a great resource. You can go there. They're going to make sure you're taken care of. They will help you. That's also on our website. So you can go there to uwdecatur.org for that information as well. There is resources available for all of these situations.
Mhm.
So if you just explain your situation, we can help you find those things that are needed right now.
Yes, we most definitely can. We can do it together and know that we're all in this together. We've all been affected by COVID. It still exists, it's out there, but the resources are available, and there is help for whatever your need is. We are here to help. And this has been Speak Up, Speak Out. I want to thank the wonderful, beautiful, talented president of United Way of Decatur in Mid Illinois, Debbie Bogle. Thank you for being
Pat,
with me. Tag team back again. And I'm Terrence Tat Taylor, the double T with the A in the middle. Remember, you can catch Speak Up and Speak Out every Saturday at noon on the Hot 105.5 Facebook page and nowdecatur.com. But you can also join in the conversation anytime. Email your questions, thoughts, and topics to speakoutdecatur at gmail.com. Speakoutdecatur at gmail.com. Message us on Hot 105.5 Facebook page as well. Thank you to our sponsors again, Crossing Healthcare, the Community Foundation of Macon County, United Way of Decatur, Mid Illinois. Thank you, Debbie. Neuhoff Media, and of course, the great city of Decatur. And of course, young people, Summer of Service presented by Hickory Point Bank. Make sure you submit all the great things that you're doing within your community, within our community, on nowdecatur.com today. Last thing before we go, please speak up and be counted. The census is critical for our community to receive all of the funding for everything from job training, better schools, better health care, and important services like we discussed today, youth, food distribution, and housing assistance as well. It takes 4 minutes to complete 9 questions, easy questions, and go to 2020census.gov, 2020census.gov, and be heard. Thank you again for joining us, Debbie.
Every 10 years, the U.S. Census gives communities across America the chance to get the funding they need. But there's a catch. The money is based on counting an accurate number of residents in each state. The fewer people we count, the less money Illinois gets. Illinois has received nearly $60 billion from the federal government based on numbers from the last census. Every person who doesn't fill out the census means less money for Illinois. That's money we could use for new school programs to help our children thrive and succeed, for building new bridges that would help you travel safely on your morning commute, for paving roads and ensuring more reliable public transportation, and for improving our hospitals and clinics so everyone gets the best health care. In Illinois, we deserve our fair share, and it starts with all of us being counted. Visit my2020census.gov or text 987-987 to learn how you can fill out the census today.